Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates, presented by the Dallas Examiner. I'm Molly Finch Belt, publisher of the Dallas Examiner. The Dallas Examiner has presented Monday Night Politics for over 12 consecutive years prior to elections. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We seek to inform the community so that when they go to the polls, they are informed voters. All candidates who provide their email addresses on their applications when they file for office are invited to participate in Monday Night Politics. Monday Night Politics is not a debate, it's a forum designed to inform the community about the candidates' qualifications, their platform, etc. We could not present Monday Night Politics without our sponsors, who are nonprofit organizations, and they do not endorse either. In addition to Monday Night Politics, our website, www.dallasexaminer.com, has a section for voter education. Here you'll find current information about voting. Visit www.dallasexaminer.com. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people who have worked with Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates behind the scenes for over 12 years. The first person is Robin Jimenez, Vice President of Production and Editorial at the Dallas Examiner. The other person is Christy Thomas, Monday Night Politics Advisory Committee. We are happy tonight to have as our moderator Charles O'Neill. Charles is president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, and he was the first editor for the Dallas Examiner when the newspaper was founded by my father in 1986. Thank you for attending the forum tonight.
And good evening and welcome to this President's Day edition of Monday Night Politics, brought to you by the Dallas Examiner newspaper. As was explained to you earlier, this is a forum through which we hope to enlighten, or educate, or in some cases entertain our constituents, or your constituents. And so what we want to do as best we can as we go through these races today, we want to make sure that you use your time to say something about yourself and your candidacy, but also to help us educate constituents on just what it is that you're running for. And so tonight we have with us tonight Ms. Maria Aceves. She is a candidate for a district judge, 192nd Judicial District. So you have two minutes for your opening statements, then we'll have some questions that'll be easy to answer. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hmm?
Good afternoon. Good evening. My name is Maria Aceves, and I'm running for the 192nd Civil District Court. This is an open bench. Justice Craig Smith was on this bench before, and he went up on the Court of Appeals in 2020. And so after consulting with several of our civil judges, some of who are personal mentors of mine, they motivated me to run for this open bench. A little bit about me: I was born in Mexico City, moved to the U.S. when I was 2.5 years old. I've been in the Dallas-Fort Worth area since I was 12, went to SMU for undergrad, SMU for law school, and then I interned and I worked for one of our civil district court judges here in Dallas County. For the past 9 years, I've been a civil litigator, and most recently I've had my own firm representing injured individuals and their families. Due to my hard work and dedication to my clients, I have been named one of D Magazine's Best Lawyers Under 40. I have been recognized by the Texas Super Lawyers as a rising star, and I have been recognized by the National Trial Lawyers. I'm running on a platform of fairness, access, and efficiency. In terms of fairness, I have done both sides of the aisle, both plaintiff and defense, and I believe that gives me a unique perspective to be a fair and impartial jurist. In terms of access, I would love to provide access to our courts via remote technology, as well as institute internship programs for our youth, and so that our youth has the opportunity to learn about our courts. I also would like to institute programs to partner with legal aid for individuals that are not represented, our pro se individuals, so that they have the proper representation in our courts. And lastly, in terms of efficiency, I want to keep our docket moving and make sure that your taxpayer money is being put to good use. And so I promise to make rulings, I promise to keep our dockets moving so that we can have an efficient justice system. Thank you so much.
And thank you, and you may stay there.
Yes, sir.
We've, in other forums, we've had county courts at law, county criminal court at law, district courts. Just kind of give us an idea of just what is the 192nd Judicial District.
Thank you for that question. So this is a civil court. In Dallas, our courts are split up by criminal, civil, probate, and so this is a civil court. We only see civil matters. That means we're going to see cases, anything ranging from a motor vehicle accident to commercial litigation, a business dispute, a contract dispute, anything having to do with people's money, essentially. And so it's very different, it's very specialized, and so I was actually the only candidate in this race that was found to be qualified for the Committee for a Qualified Judiciary, which is a nonpartisan organization which is made up of attorneys and community leaders that vet the candidates and ask them about their litigation experience, their trial experience. It's a very rigorous process, and so I was found to be qualified for this civil bench in civil litigation.
Okay. And you mentioned some programs that you'd like to see that maybe don't exist in the court now. Kind of expand on that for us.
Absolutely. So the first one I talked about was remote technology and instituting remote technology. A lot of times it's hard for our litigants to come down to the courthouse, so if there's a hearing, I would love to use remote technology. I know some of our courts have been using it during the pandemic, and I think it's very convenient, and it's an easy way for people to be able to access the courthouse without having to miss work. It just makes it more accessible. Also, internships. I had the opportunity to intern with one of our civil district courts here in Dallas County, and that experience was invaluable to me once I became a litigator. It truly allowed me to be well-versed in the area of civil litigation, and so I would love to partner with law schools as well as DISD schools to help our high schoolers and our law students have opportunities for internships. And then lastly, we have a lot of litigants that show up before the court that are unrepresented, they're pro se. And so I would love to partner with organizations like Legal Aid so that the people that show up are able to have pro bono representation from these legal organizations.
Now that wasn't one of the questions I had planned to ask, but how often does that happen, that somebody just necessarily shows up, I would imagine, but pro se?
Yes, so it does happen. It does happen quite a bit, and I will say that a good portion of our pro se litigants are also Spanish speaking, and so they find it very difficult to communicate with the court, and they find that there isn't accessibility. So I think that me being bilingual would allow a lot of these pro litigants to feel like they have that accessibility to the court, but we do have quite a bit of pro se litigants that come before the court.
Man. We've also asked in other races, other judicial races, I'm sure you're aware that in the last legislative session, there was some pretty serious attempts at changing the way Texas either elects or appoints judges. Do you have let's hear your opinion on whether judges should be elected or appointed.
Yes, I do. I think judges should be elected. I think the constituents and the people of Dallas are the best people to know who should be in those positions representing their interests, and so I definitely think that judges should be elected and that the voters should have an opportunity to elect their judges.
Very good, very good. So 2 minutes for our closing statement, and it's all yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. It's been a pleasure. Again, my name is Maria Seves. I'm running for the 192nd Civil District Court. I'm running for this bench because I believe I can bring fairness, access, and efficiency to this court. Additionally, I've been endorsed by a lot of our community leaders. I've been endorsed by State Senator Royce West, Commissioner John Wiley Price, Commissioner Dr. Elba Garcia, State Representative Victoria Niave Criado, State Representative Rafael Anchia, State Representative Julie Johnson, and numerous other elected officials, as well as been endorsed by every single Democratic club in Dallas County by a margin of 80% or higher. And so I want to have this opportunity to be able to serve you, Please hold me accountable. We are elected officials and we work for you, the people of Dallas County. And so if I have this opportunity, like I said, I'll bring fairness, access, and efficiency. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much, Ms. Maria Aceves, candidate for 192nd Civil District Court,
Yes.
right? Thank you so much, right? We'll have a short break. We'll have next our candidate for Criminal District Judge, Dallas County, number 6.
Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates, presented by the Dallas Examiner. I'm Molly Finch Belt, publisher of the Dallas Examiner. The Dallas Examiner has presented Monday Night Politics for over 12 consecutive years prior to elections. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We seek to inform the community so that when they go to the polls, they are informed voters. All candidates who provide their email addresses on their applications when they file for office are invited to participate in Monday Night Politics. Monday Night Politics is not a debate, it's a forum designed to inform the community about the candidates' qualifications, their platform, etc. We could not present Monday Night Politics without our sponsors, who are nonprofit organizations, and they do not endorse either. In addition to Monday Night Politics, our website, www.dallasexaminer.com, has a section for voter education. Here you'll find current information about voting. Visit www.dallasexaminer.com. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people who have worked with Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates behind the scenes for over 12 years. The first person is Robin Jimenez, Vice President of Production and Editorial at the Dallas Examiner. The other person is Christy Thomas, Monday Night Politics Advisory Committee. We are happy tonight to have as our moderator Charles O'Neill. Charles is president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, and he was the first editor for the Dallas Examiner when the newspaper was founded by my father in 1986. Thank you for attending the forum tonight.
Good evening and welcome back to Monday Night Politics. And tonight we have Democratic primary challengers for Criminal District Judge, Dallas County Court number 6. We have with us Ms. Allison Allen and Ms. Nancy Mulder. We'll do this the easy way, alphabetical order. We have 2 minutes for opening statements, 2 minutes for question and answer, then we'll have 2 minutes for closing statements as well. So you're up now, 2 minutes for opening statements, Ms. Allen.
Hi friends, my name is Allison Allen. I'm running for Criminal District Court 6. I am a board-certified criminal attorney. I'm a former public defender. I could go on about my resume, but I find that people don't really care what you know until they know that you care, and so I want to tell you what I care about. First and foremost, I'm a criminal justice reformer. I'm the child of criminal justice reformers. If you ask my mother what her greatest achievements are in her life, she will first point to her 3 children, because she has to, and then say that she kept 168,000 people out of prison. That's the family I came up in, and that's where I'm proud to stand right now. I care about my own family. I have 3 little girls. They're all in Dallas public schools. I care about my community. I care about my democracy. And when my community came out in the summer of 2020 to reckon with racial justice, it was my cell phone number that was written on the arms of protesters. I'm a little old to be out in the streets, but I was happy to be on the bailout team and run a bail reform project. I care about our right to vote. And when Republicans and Ken Paxton came after Crystal Mason to prosecute her for filing a provisional ballot in the 2016 election, I fought for her all the way to the Court of Criminal Appeals, where her case is now. I care about the place I live. I care about what happens to my community. When COVID hit our jails, I filed suit against the jail as well as federal prisons to keep people safe who are incarcerated. That's what I care about. That's who you get with Allison Allen, proven values.
Thank you so much. Ms. Mulder.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Mulder, and I am a current judge here in Dallas County for a misdemeanor criminal court. First, I want to thank the Dallas Examiner, Mr. O'Neill, for being here, and Mrs. Belt for maintaining this great forum during the pandemic. For me, experience matters, and then I can tell you about my values as well. I started as a prosecutor at the DA's office and did that for 12 years, then started practicing criminal defense, which I did for 8. I then took the bench, and in my first term, I reduced the pending caseload in this court by 41%. Yes, I said 41% pending caseload, because we all know that justice delayed is justice denied. So that tells you that I am down at the courthouse working. During the 8 years I've been on this bench, I put an end to the practice where automatic warrants would be issued for individuals simply because they couldn't pay their probation fees. I started the cite and release misdemeanor marijuana court that ended on-site arrests in 2017 for individuals committing no other crime than possessing a small amount of marijuana. I partnered with Project Phoenix to get our young men jobs and job training. Most importantly, I have been practicing criminal law here in Dallas County for 26 years, and experience does matter. I have been a former precinct chair here in Dallas County starting in 2010. I have block walked, phone banked in every primary, gubernatorial, and presidential election since 2010, whether I've been on the ballot or not, and putting my feet on the ground for the values that we all share as Democrats that are so important for us. JudgeNancyMulder.com. Thank you very much.
And you can stay there for the first question.
Yes,
And I just can only imagine if I had a pending criminal case, a backlog on cases. How will your being elected to the bench kind of begin to alleviate that problem that we've had in Dallas County?
I'm really glad you asked that question, because our institutional, having the institutional knowledge from being a judge for 8 years, I am ready to now, as I am running for this open felony bench, to take all of my years of experience up to the felony bench, and I'm ready to hit the ground running. So the first thing I would do is look at every case and make sure that no one is in jail that doesn't need to be, all right? And to give them personal recognizance bond to get out. Now, how to deal with the backlog? First of all, the first thing we can do is run what's called a double docket, meaning the state is providing funds, so taxpayers here in Dallas aren't paying for it, to have a visiting judge come in and do the pleas that are agreed to, and basically running 2 courts at once to help reduce the pending caseload. But based on my performance in the misdemeanor court, where I reduced the docket by almost half, I think you know that I am there, that I'm working hard, and I will continue to do so. During the pandemic, I was at the courthouse. We were having bail hearings daily to make sure that everyone could be let out of jail as long as they were not a violent, and by violent I mean committing, you know, they haven't committed a serious felony offense, that they were given PR bonds and let out of jail, because nobody needed to be in jail when and during this pandemic unless they had repeated violations of bond. These issues are very important. So, you know, I will be there working hard for you, because the most important thing as a judge is simply being there and being available for the attorneys to come and to handle cases.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same question to you, Ms. Allison. Allison Allen. How do we clear the backlog of cases?
And it's terrible. The backlog in these courts is something that we have never been prepared for. Frankly, there was a backlog before the pandemic, but at this point, it's outrageous. It's going to take us if we use business as usual, it's going to take 7 years to clear this backlog, if we get there. So extraordinary measures are necessary, and calling in some extra judges to do some more jury trials is a good step. But we're also going to need all of the players in the room. I've been practicing felony criminal law for 17 years, and I understand very well that one of the biggest impediments to getting cases resolved is not having everyone in the same room together. When I take the bench in 2023, I'm going to first start with the highest volume attorneys in that courtroom, and arrange by defense attorney to have all clients in jail, all clients on bond, and all prosecutors involved there in the room on that person's docket day. So if we arrange to have everyone there, we can shoot to reduce that one attorney's caseload by about 35%. I think that that's not unreasonable. A few days, a few months of that sort of all call, and we can have these dockets reduced. This particular court that we're talking about, the sitting judge has basically taken the pandemic as a paid vacation, and there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of low-hanging fruit that can be cleared out, and I aim to do that on day one.
So we say there, and for this question, this is basically a slow roller, as I mentioned to you. How will your being elected to the office change the way this court administers law?
So, like I mentioned in the previous question, I have been practicing felony law for a very long time, and I have seen the places where business as usual falls down, and where we have problems, and where the system slows down. A lot of that is chasing prosecutors around. A lot of it is judges not showing up. Ms. Mulder is absolutely right about that. A lot of the judges in our courthouse believe that the day ends at noon, and frankly, that's just not good enough. I have 3 little kids. I've got to get them to school by 8 a.m. I'm here to work all day, and I expect to have things going on and cases moving all day. I feel like defense attorneys get a lot of the grief for some of these backlogs, and I don't really think it's fair. I think that as a defense attorney, if you want to put my people in prison, you need to show up today. You need to come and bring your case, be ready, and get ready to have it finished. And as your next district judge, that's what I'll expect from the prosecutors in the court and the specialized prosecutors as well, for people to be ready to negotiate, and to be ready to have those cases tried. Because honestly, jury trials don't move all that many cases. The threat of jury trial is what moves cases. And that threat is made almost exclusively to prosecutors who need to open up those files, understand where those cases have issues, and be ready to negotiate and make reasonable offers so that we can get the dockets moving.
Very good. Thank you so much. Same question to you, Judge.
And this is what I would bring to
Yes,
Criminal
ma'am.
District Court number 6.
Yes, ma'am.
In my 20 years as an active prosecutor and defense attorney, I personally was the lead attorney on about 150 jury trials. That means that as a prosecutor and defense attorney, I've held the hand of mothers whose children were killed and murdered, and as a defense attorney, I held the hand of mothers whose sons and or daughters were facing life in prison. This court is a felony court where everything from small amounts of drugs up to aggravated robbery, aggravated assault, murder, and capital murder cases will be heard. Having this experience and having personally also presided over almost 85 jury trials right now, what I bring is not only all these years of experience, but also some wisdom in knowing how to try to bring a resolution during the reckoning of an open plea in court or jury trial. Because if you can have a defendant who is so very sorry for what he or she did because they were drunk or high, and a victim's family who can hear that apology and know that it is heartfelt, and as a judge trying to bring that resolution in court is one of the best things I can do as judge of Criminal District Court number 6. But what I also want to do is bring more drug treatment and mental health treatment. Our jail right now, with 5,500 people in it right this minute, half of the men and women in there have mental illness and dual diagnosis drug addiction. We need more programs and funding.
Did it? Okay. You both have mentioned something that raised another question to me. You talked about the disposition of cases and that maybe a jury trial, if we could get it moved in a plea before that. But I'm going to say historically, pleas haven't worked so good for black folk. Talk about that. How do you manage a system that has been so biased, but you want to make sure that justice is delivered? How do you do that?
You do that by protecting every accused person's rights. And you hear a lot in some forums where judges talk about not being overturned. Well, I've been overturned because I did not, in one situation, I was not going to create a law that benefited prosecutors because their search warrant expired in a case. I mean, there are times when being overturned, when you make a ruling that might be unpopular with one side, but it's because it's the right thing to do. So you, number one, protecting people's constitutional rights, but also making sure that you have defense attorneys that are court appointed to represent people who are not just, telling their client as much as you can, that they're just not pushing their client to a plea. How do we protect people of color? And that is by doing these forums, which I will continue to do if you elect me to be judge of Criminal District Court 6. During the pandemic, I was streaming trials and hearings in my court through my Facebook page. You can find that, Judge Nancy Mulder. And making criminal justice accessible to the public is another way. But in addition, paying attention to those search warrants and those details and making sure that defendants' rights, that every defendant has a say in court and that their rights are protected. In the cite and release court, astonishingly, from the numbers that we have, 91% of the men and women who were cited and released were people of color, African American and Latino. And I have pushed Dallas Police Department to give me an explanation as to why we have, and their answers are not satisfactory. So we have got to work together and kind of pull back the page on some of these issues.
Very good. Thank you so much. Same question to you, Ms. Allen.
So a lot of y'all in the room today are lawyers, and you know that in the law we have what's called legal fictions. I like to think that we also have legal jokes. One of possibly the least funny of which is when a judge asks a person who's taking a plea, are you saying you're guilty? Because you are guilty and for no other reason. And that person, of course, is there prepared to take the plea and says, yes. That question is there because courts understand and want to anticipate the fact that being incarcerated when taking a plea is coercive. When a person cannot get out of jail until they take a plea, then that plea is not the freest and most voluntarily given. And that's a problem in the system. When you say that pleas have not really gone well for black folks, that's because pretrial incarceration has been a black issue for a very long time. And being in jail with no other option than to take a plea in order to get out of jail is a systemic problem. And it's one that can't be solved until we understand the corrosive effects of cash money bail, until we understand the corrosive effects of pretrial incarceration. The idea that pretrial incarceration is non-punitive is crazy, but it's baked into our system. And to get to the heart of it, we have to get pretrial release that is responsive and that serves the goals that it actually says it's going to. We need to keep people in jail only if they are at flight risk or actively dangerous to the community. And that kind of assessment is a human one, and it has to happen quickly and repeatedly all over time.
Very good. Thank you so much. 2 minutes for a closing statement. Stay to you, Ms. Allen.
Okay, sorry. Long time no see. All right. If you care about holding police officers accountable, if you care about making sure that victims of abuse and sexual assault are heard, are respected, are known, if you care about stopping the effects of mass incarceration that goes through families, if you care about getting people who are in the system trauma-informed care and the kind of a justice response that actually make things better, if you care about those things, then these district court races that are always kind of a snooze fest, these are what you need to be looking at, because this is where the rubber meets the road. These are the races where we determine who's going to make those decisions for us. And frankly, Dallas County has been solidly blue for a very long time. And it's about time that we stretch out and demand that the people who hold these seats share our actual values. Being smart is important. Being experienced is great. But what you want when it's you or someone you love in front of a district court is somebody who shares the values that you find the most important. And that's why I'm running for Criminal District Court 6. I believe that our district courts can be something we're actually proud of. Our district courts can be a place where we're not afraid to go and tell the truth, where we're not afraid that we're going to get arrested on some arcane warrant just because we came to tell the truth, where we're not afraid that we're going to cause more harm than good whenever we go to court. Our district courts are here to serve us, and they should reflect us. And that's why I'm running for Criminal District Court 6.
Thank you so much. Judge Muller, same thing to you. 2 minute closing statement.
I forgot to put my mask back on while I was listening. I apologize. Thank you all so much for tuning in today and this evening. Again, my name is Nancy Mulder, and I am currently one of your misdemeanor court judges. Now, to me, experience is more than great. It's extremely important. And let me just give you a kind of a hypothetical that might demonstrate why. Of course, it's a sports analogy. For example, if you have someone who's read everything about football, knows the rule book backward and forward, would you have them go referee a Cowboys game if they'd only played once? I'm the referee that has played, prosecuted, defense, offense, and as a referee, almost 200 times, actually over 200 times. So experience is more than great. It's extremely important because there has never been two criminal cases exactly alike. There has never been two criminal defendants who are exactly alike. And as a judge, you have to have the knowledge to be ready for anything. But you also have to have the experience and the wisdom and the wherewithal and the patience to be ready for everything. And that's why experience is so important. And our values are very similar, and my feet have been on the ground, block walking, trying to get our Democrats elected at the state level so that we can affect change in our cash bail system. I have been working with the courts and have implemented changes to our current system. And I hope that with my proven track record, you'll vote for me, Nancy Mulder. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nancy Mulder, Allison Allen, both candidates for County Court number 6. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Good deal. And next we'll have Dallas County Justice of Peace, Precinct 5, Place 2.
Do you want me to leave that here?
evening and welcome to Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates, presented by the Dallas Examiner. I'm Molly Finch Belt, publisher of the Dallas Examiner. The Dallas Examiner has presented Monday Night Politics for over 12 consecutive years prior to elections. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We seek to inform the community so that when they go to the polls, they are informed voters. All candidates who provide their email addresses on their applications when they file for office are invited to participate in Monday Night Politics. Monday Night Politics is not a debate, it's a forum designed to inform the community about the candidates' qualifications, their platform, etc. We could not present Monday Night Politics without our sponsors, who are nonprofit organizations, and they do not endorse either. In addition to Monday Night Politics, our website, www.dallasexaminer.com, has a section for voter education. Here you'll find current information about voting. Visit www.dallasexaminer.com. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people who have worked with Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates behind the scenes for over 12 years. The first person is Robin Jimenez, Vice President of Production and Editorial at the Dallas Examiner. The other person is Christy Thomas, Monday Night Politics Advisory Committee. We are happy tonight to have as our moderator Charles O'Neill. Charles is president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, and he was the first editor for the Dallas Examiner when the newspaper was founded by my father in 1986. Thank you for attending the forum tonight.
And welcome back to Monday Night Politics, the forum provided to you by the Dallas Examiner newspaper. We're now at a part of our forum tonight where stereotypically called the down ballot races, right? Folk get down that part and they just start punching or not punching. So, but we know that JP courts are the courts of first resort. They're the closest to us, right? And so we have two candidates with us tonight in the Democratic primary for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 5, Place 1. You have the incumbent, Sara Martinez, right, and the challenger, Mr. Andre Turner. So we'll have 2 minutes for opening statements. Ms. Incumbent, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sara Martinez. I am the incumbent Justice of the Peace for Precinct 5, Place 1. I have served in this position for 8 years now, and it is my honor to do so. I am proud of the work that we've done during these 2 terms, and I am seeking my 3rd term for re-election. I was born and raised in the Rio Grande Valley of South Texas. I received my bachelor's degree from Loyola Marymount University and my law degree from the University of Southern California School of Law. I've been licensed to practice law in Texas for 14 years. Prior to being elected, I worked at the Dallas County Public Defender's Office in the Misdemeanor Division, providing legal services to indigent defendants. I also served in private practice where I handle civil litigation, family law matters, and criminal matters. I am looking forward to continuing the work that we've done during my tenure. We have made wonderful strides in assisting our most vulnerable residents. I am proud to say that JP 5-1 has one of the lowest rates of eviction during this pandemic because I have been very diligent in following all of the orders as issued by the Supreme Court, City of Dallas, and Dallas County. I have also worked with all of the representatives in Precinct 5 to continue to provide community services in areas like vaccines, back to school forums, as well as programming for young adults and seniors as well. I look forward to continuing the work that we've done so far, and I thank you all for your time and your support.
Thank you so much. Mr. Turner.
Good evening. First, I want to say thank you, Molly Belt, for 12 years of educating our community on the importance of voting, especially in the primary race. My name is Andre Turner. I'm a probation officer with Dallas County Adult Probation Department. I've been with them for 27 years. Part of that 27 years, 25 of those years has been spent on a misdemeanor level court, and now I'm dealing with felony levels of family violence. One thing about misdemeanors, you have high volume. You have to be able to move cases. When you talk about double docket, I know what that means. My background, I am as a probation officer. My degree is from Bishop College in elementary education. That's my education piece. My master's degree is in professional development. I served on the Judicial Nomination Commission for 10 years. Prior to that, I just resigned from the Police Oversight Board for 2 years in order to run for this seat. My work and depth has been in the community. 20 years I have served as a sponsor for Townview Law Magnet, where we're educating young men and young women to make a difference in their life, and hopefully they're going to law school. And some of them has become lawyers. In the midst of the pandemic, we had to do things a totally different way. We had the census going on. We had to make sure we got out there in the streets, canvassed the community to make sure these people got their documents completed successfully and get it in, so we made sure our community did not get overlooked. I'm an election judge. I served as an election judge for almost like 4 years. My name is Andre Turner, and I'm the one that's going to make a difference in Precinct 5, Place 1.
And stay there for the first question, Mr. Turner. As I mentioned, again, stereotypically, these races don't draw a lot of attention. The top of the ticket generally does, but describe to our viewers and our listeners just what is the JP.
I mean, the JP is a very unique court. It serves it has two hats. It has that civil aspect of it, and then it has the criminal aspects of it. A lot of times, this is the first step before they get to a higher court, which is a county criminal court that handles Class B and Class A cases. This is a court that my grandmother wants to go in, and she can seek fair justice and handle incident that between she and a neighbor where the tree had fallen into a yard, and she don't have to hire an attorney because she's on a fixed income. But this is the first court that a person will go to where they can just do this on their own and not be intimidated that I have to go out and hire a lawyer to handle this case, and I can do it on my own. And I can walk out feeling that I have experienced fair justice. And it's a very unique position that it doesn't cost for you to have a Juris Doctor degree. You know, this is about the only one. And so definitely with my education background, you know, truancy is a big issue. We handle truancy cases. They handle the small Class C cases dealing with tickets. That's the first court. These are the first courts you get to before you even get to the Dallas Municipal Court, which is a baby court also. So it's a very important court because definitely it's for the people. The people can govern those courts.
Okay, thank you. Judge Martinez, same question. Describe that court for us.
Well, Justice of the Peace Court is really where the rubber meets the road. We handle a variety of issues. The most important in light of the pandemic is the eviction docket. We also handle Class C misdemeanors, which is your typical traffic citation. We also handle small claims, debt claims, dangerous dog hearings, occupational driver's license, as well as license suspension hearings. So we are a mixed bag of all of the other things that our typical higher courts do not have the time to deal with. And these are the courts where we're deciding who gets to stay in their home, who gets to drive to their job so they can provide for their family. So this is a very crucial part of our community, and we need to make sure that the person that sits on that bench understands those issues. As the first-generation American and the daughter of migrant farm workers, I understand the issues that appear in this court. I understand when you can't make rent. I understand when you are facing housing insecurity, food insecurity, because I have lived those issues. And I believe that that real-world experience that I have, along with my legal education, makes me the best fit for this job. In the last legislative session, the amount of controversy for this court changed to $20,000. Sitting on this court every single day, I can tell you that we now have a wide barrage of motions that are brought by attorneys that have made the process extremely complicated. Having that legal background and understanding what these motions means is very crucial, and I believe that a person that has those qualities is better able to serve the community.
Landlord-tenant issues always seem to bubble up. Here, most recently, eviction relief funds have been tied up someplace, then they're not making it down to people that are affected by either the pandemic or unemployment or whatever. How have you worked with the system to try to, one, free up those funds that will begin to alleviate the stress between tenants and landlords?
Well, as justices of the peace, we don't have the ability to free up those funds. But what we are able to do is to open our courts to legal aid attorneys that come into the courthouse and assist those persons in securing those funds. At JP 51, we have a dedicated room so that members of the legal aid community and Mark Melton's Dallas Eviction Diversion Program can come into the courtroom and assist those persons that are having these issues. And I can tell you firsthand that having a legal representative at the courthouse to assist defendants makes a world of difference, because they're able to educate the defendants on what services are available, what funds are available, and that makes the entire difference in the world to many families. And I'm proud to say that because of those efforts, in conjunction with my application of all of the Supreme Court rules and city and county ordinance, we have managed to have many people be able to stay in their homes and give them the opportunity to get back on their feet.
Very good. Thank you so much. Mr. Turner, you want to address that?
You know, one thing about, let me talk about just this county. There are more poor people in this county than rich people. And like you said, what we need to do is have advocates. You know, my goal is to have a SWOT analysis where you look at the weakness and the strength. If I'm getting ready to lose my apartment and I know I'm on a fixed income and I know I'm indigent and I don't have this kind of money, this is where you reach out to these organizations out there. They have all different type of organizations out there that we need to come together and say, this is where you need to go. You need to go to the stew pot. I'm just throwing it out there. You need to go to the stew pot. You need to go to this mission church over here. There's other organizations that can assist, because some people, we have to build up trust, because if I don't trust you, I'm not gonna give you all this information about my finance that I am hurting, you know, and I know I'm trying to make ends meet, but we need to be out there and have different type of advocacy on programs to show that there is some resources out there, because some people didn't know that their money was out there and was available to them. And so, you know, it takes people like us and like you to educate these people that know if you go over here, these people will assist you, you know, because like I said, we don't want to, you know, put people out, you know, who have small children and already vested in the schools, and now they have to move out because we have this elephant in the room that I can't pay this rent. So organizations need to kind of step up, and they have stepped up, but you know, we need to continue to educate the community on the resources available out there to help these people not experience that hardship.
Mr. Turner, stay there for your closing statement. Tell us how you're being elected to Precinct 5, Place 1 will improve that court.
One thing I plan to bring, we have almost like 8 high schools. Truancy is an issue. I want to incorporate teen court. For 20 years, I worked with Challenging Law Magnet Program, and we have excellent, then they have Skyline out there. We have excellent students, you know, that peer-to-peer, when they get peer-to-peer sanction. I want to implement that. Definitely, I want to sit down with advocacies in different areas that this JP5 serves, whether it be from Pleasant Grove to West Dallas to Norfolk Cliff. We have everybody come at the table to tell us what worked better for this community. And that's one thing I'm going to bring. In addition to that, I want to make sure that we have evening dockets. 2020 affected all people, and it showed us that criminal justice have to do things in a totally different way. We have to be accessible to the community, okay? And that means that sometimes, you know, JPC is just not from 9 to 5. You need to get on out there and have some Thursday dockets that ends at 8 o'clock. You know, because that blue-collar worker, when they say I cannot take off because my boss is getting ready to fire me, please believe that. Please believe that. They don't have all these benefits. And so I plan to bring some different ideas and with these organizations so that we can figure out what's going to be the best course of action. The first 90 days, that's what I'm going to be looking at, deciding what's going to be best practice for this community and how we can continue to make this community be the best community, JP5 Place 1. If I don't ASK, I don't GET. I'm asking you to go out there, call 10 people, tell them, get those souls to the polls because the numbers are low. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Judge Martinez, tell us why it's important that you be returned to JP
Thank you
Court.
for that question.
This
I
is your
believe-
closing statement. 2 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
I believe that I should be returned to this seat because we've done a phenomenal job in Precinct 5, Place 1. As I mentioned earlier, I have reached out to all of the elected officials in all of Precinct 5 and have worked with all of them to make sure that we are providing access to justice, that we are providing community services. The lines for JP5-1 have recently changed to include now Pleasant Grove, Farmers Branch, and Northwest Dallas. I've already reached out to those elected officials to find out what is it that the community needs in those areas. My plans for the future include to have education sessions at our rec centers, as I mentioned earlier. There have been several changes that have affected the justice courts lately, so I would like to do a programming at each of the rec centers in Precinct 5 so that we can inform the community of what's available at our JP courts, what kind of cases can you bring, what are the jurisdictional limits in these areas, and how can you best present your case to the community. That was our plan before the pandemic hit, and that is something that I plan to do in my next term. We have also continued to make great strides in being accessible via technology. I was one of the first courts to have a YouTube channel to have all of our proceedings live streamed. I continue to use technology today to hold hearings and trials every single day, and that's been a great benefit to the community. I plan to still continue having access to the court Monday through Friday. I'm there every single day, and I would like to thank everyone for their support, and I would like to ask you for your vote, and thank you so much for having us tonight.
Very good. Thanks so much. We have candidates for the incumbent for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 5, Place 1, Sara Martinez, and her challenger, Mr. Andre Turner. Thank you both so much for your.
Thank you.
All right. Next race up is Dallas County Justice of the Peace, Precinct 5, Place 2. So, candidate.
Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates, presented by the Dallas Examiner. I'm Molly Finch Belt, publisher of the Dallas Examiner. The Dallas Examiner has presented Monday Night Politics for over 12 consecutive years prior to elections. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We seek to inform the community so that when they go to the polls, they are informed voters. All candidates who provide their email addresses on their applications when they file for office are invited to participate in Monday Night Politics. Monday Night Politics is not a debate, it's a forum designed to inform the community about the candidates' qualifications, their platform, etc. We could not present Monday Night Politics without our sponsors, who are nonprofit organizations, and they do not endorse either. In addition to Monday Night Politics, our website, www.dallasexaminer.com, has a section for voter education. Here you'll find current information about voting. Visit www.dallasexaminer.com. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people who have worked with Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates behind the scenes for over 12 years. The first person is Robin Jimenez, Vice President of Production and Editorial at the Dallas Examiner. The other person is Christy Thomas, Monday Night Politics Advisory Committee. We are happy tonight to have as our moderator Charles O'Neill. Charles is president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, and he was the first editor for the Dallas Examiner when the newspaper was founded by my father in 1986. Thank you for attending the forum tonight.
Good evening and welcome back to Monday Night Politics, forum brought to you by the Dallas Examiner newspaper. Thank you so much for tuning in out there in cyberspace. We have tonight a forum providing an opportunity for candidates for Dallas County Justice of the Peace, Precinct 5, Place 2, to appeal to your vote. And we have with us the incumbent, Judge Juan Hasso, challenger Desmond Cooks, and challenger Ms. Kalitha Dotson. We're going to do this the easy way, alphabetical order. We'll start with you, Mr. Cooks. 2 minutes for an opening statement.
At 18 years old, I made the biggest decision of my life. I went to Wynwood Naval Recruiting Office and said, sign me up. To me, seeing the world and serving my country was the greatest honor I could have. While serving, I was promoted 3 ranks within 2 years. I obtained my associate's degree, was deployed 3 times to the Arabian Gulf, managed a team of 10 individuals, and climbed Mount Fuji in Japan. It was a great 4 years. But the biggest experience that I got from that was learning and experiencing individuals from all different cultures, all different beliefs, all different religions, but all coming together to understand that to make our country better, we had to serve our country. After I was honorably discharged, I continued my education, graduated from Baylor Law School, and then became a city prosecutor, where I handled literally hundreds of cases a day with hundreds of different personalities, but I loved that interaction. I wanted to continue my legal career, so I decided to join a insurance defense firm. While I was represented Walmart and TP Siga and a couple of other companies, I wanted to continue to grow, so I started doing commercial litigation, which basically just means larger corporations. But my spirit wasn't there. It was something about that representing the faceless companies that just didn't sit right with me. So I started my own firm, and that's when I was able to get back to that individual feeling that just really sparked the fire in me. In 2016, I was appointed associate municipal judge, and that's when I realized that that was my calling. That my calling was to serve the people, that my calling was to help individuals in the best way, in the best capacity that I could. I've served our country, and I've served our city. And with your support, I will serve our community as your next Justice of the Peace, Precinct 5, Place 2. My name is Desmond Cooks, and I'm asking for your support.
Thank you so much. Ms. Dotson.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kalitha Dotson, and I am running to be your Justice of the Peace for 5-2. I could get into about the education and everything, and I am a nurse. I was a hospice nurse for 10 years. Then from there, I became a paralegal, got my degree in nursing, paralegal, and then I became a arbitrator, mediator, got my degree in that, and now I actually have a 4.0, and I'm attending Harvard on a scholarship, and I'm a Phi Theta Kappa. But those things doesn't matter. What matters is what I can do for the community and how I can relate to the community. I'm not a judge. I haven't been appointed as a judge. I have not been elected as a judge. I have none of those things, and I don't have that experience because I don't have that experience because I haven't been given those opportunities. But what I'm asking is that you look at me as a mother. I'm a mother of two. I've experienced the courtroom in many ways. I've experienced the JP court as a mother with truancy, as a mother with a child with mental illness. I also have a child that I took out of the system. I also have been homeless. Those are things that I've experienced, and I can relate to those things. The JP courts are the lower courts, and we are there to stop whatever it is at the JP courts before it gets higher. We want to be able to work with the public. There is a gap. We want to be the bridge, and when I say we, I'm speaking as the people, because it says we the people in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice and assure domestic tranquility. That means we, not me, myself, and I. So I'm asking you to allow me to be that bridge to carry over. I am here to service the people. I want to serve the people. There's nothing wrong in serving. There's no humility in serving. The best thing about serving is how you do your job. If you're a maid, if you clean up well, you are good at it. So I'm asking you to give me that opportunity to stand for the people, to be with the people, and let the people know that I am there for you so that we can all come together and we can stop whatever this is. I want you all to know that I've been there, I've done that, and I'm here for you.
Thank you so much. Judge Hospital.
Good evening. Thank you, Ms. Belt and the Dallas Examiner for having us here tonight. I'm the current office holder for Justice of the Peace Precinct 5, Place 2. I'm going to deviate a little bit and give a little bit of family history because I think that reflects what I bring to this court, the compassion and judicial temperament that I see every day in the people that come before me. And I try and treat them as I would like to be treated, with respect and dignity. I'm 14 out of 15 children, out of a family of farm workers. My grandfather was lynched down on the border back in the early 1900s. So I understand the struggles that people have when they come to our court as well. And being out of the 14 out of 15 children, I was the first to finish college. My sister, after me, finished college, and she's been a school teacher for over 35 years. And after college, I went to law school, became a lawyer, practiced mainly criminal law, because that's where I felt that basically people of color like ourselves needed the most representation. So I bring those qualities and experiences to this court. Like I said, when people come to our court, a lot of times all they want to be given is the opportunity to be heard. And I'll let them talk as much as they want to. And I'll listen to them with a compassionate ear. And they'll make a decision. And those decisions sometimes have to be hard decisions. But then I also give them options as to what they can do after they've come to court and what else they can do as far as their cases are concerned. So I would ask for your support and hopefully give me 4 more years. Thank you.
Judge, describe for us, if you will, a typical day, if you will. What kind of cases do you see in your court?
Because of the pandemic, we've kind of spread out the cases. We usually will schedule about 10 eviction cases per half hour, starting at 9 o'clock. So usually 9, 9:30, 10, 10:30, if we have any after that. Then we'll hear some small claims after that. And sometimes people will walk in. They've got tickets, their license has been suspended, they want to take care of their tickets so they can get their driver's license. And a lot of times, of course, because of economic situations, they cannot afford to pay the ticket. Well, then there's options. We talk to them about their options, which can be either a payment plan or community service. And I tell them, you can do community service at your church, at a rec center, Salvation Army, anywhere. And then I also tell them, if you really want to get your driver's license, we also deal with occupational driver's license. And we can give them the information, we can give them the packets so they can file. And as long as they get all their information in, they could have an occupational driver's license by the next day. Just depends.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Dotson, you've heard in a broad sense just what goes on in the court, and you talk passionately about the things that you'd like to see. Kind of flesh that out for us. Tell us about, against what you heard, what the court does, how you'll improve that court.
Well, thank you. I plan on going in and getting my hands dirty. I want to go in and see what is actually needed and ask the community, what do you need and what do you want to see? There are different programs that we can do that can help. There are programs that we can establish that will help with truancy. There's programs that we can establish that will help with the home or help with the mental problems or even with the evictions. I plan on trying to improve those. I plan on doing more than just putting one program in place. We can put more programs in place. We can make sure that the people know that we are there for them and that this is their courtroom and that we work for you. You do not work for us. And we're trying to get everyone to see that we can also have classes that will help you understand and give you the knowledge of what the legal documents mean, what the legal words mean, and give you what the propositions are before they're coming out. We want everyone to know that this is your courtroom and that we have a learning basis here for you. Not only just a learning basis, we want you to make sure that you feel that you are humanized and not dehumanized, that it's a diverse courtroom and not someone that you feel that you're not included where you are included. We want to improve by letting you know that these are your courtrooms and we're giving you the opportunities. And if you can't do something, we want to make sure that you're heard. We want to make sure that you're seen. We want to make sure that you don't feel like that you're not supposed to be here because you're really not. But sometimes we make you feel, or some people make you feel that look where you are. Well, we all can be there, but I want to make sure that the public knows and the public understands that this is for you and give you a scorecard so you can tell us what we're not doing right, what you would like to see, and do this every 2 to 3 months out of a year, and that way we can improve this system. And instead of saying we have these programs, actually have these programs to make the people feel that this is for them and that they have options.
Thank you so much. Mr. Cooks, how will you improve the administration of that court?
In my 14 legal years of career, I've represented landlords, I've represented tenants. I've handled Class C misdemeanors as a municipal judge. I've represented individuals looking for their occupational license. All of the matters that go on in the Justice Peace Court are things that I've done and have continued to do throughout my career. Knowledge is power. We say that as a cliche, we say that as something that's just thrown out there, but I've seen more dollars thrown in these campaigns, more dollars thrown in getting us our name out there, asking you to vote for us, but I hardly see that same effort when it comes time for these programs. I don't see that effort when it comes time to say, this is the Renters Relief Program. I don't see that same effort when it's time to say, hey, if you're having issues paying your rent and you feel like you're going to be evicted, this is what you do. It's time to open the court up. We call it the People's Court. Let's open it and bring it back to the people. That's the first step. The first step is bringing our courts back to the people, giving them knowledge, letting them, if the whole goal is to represent yourself in court, you have to know how to do that. You don't have to go to law school, but let's open the doors up. Let's have a couple of CLEs, which are continuing legal education, but for individuals to say, this is how you do this. This is this program. This is this document. The court, the Justice of the Peace Court, you're more likely to end up here or the municipal court than any other court as a normal citizen. Let's open it back up to the people and keep it for the people.
You stay there, sir, for 2 minutes, closing statement.
I believe we all have a purpose. I believe what's for us, what God has for us, is for us, and there are no accidents. My time as a city prosecutor served a purpose. My time representing those companies and those insurance companies, taking cases from district court to county court to justice peace courts all over Texas, that served a purpose. My time at my law firm, representing criminal cases, representing landlord-tenant cases, representing all type of civil cases, that was to serve a purpose. My time as a municipal judge, presiding over dockets in the veteran docket, the indigent docket, the community docket for South Oak Cliff, the community docket for West Dallas, the community docket for South Dallas, was to serve a purpose. And that purpose was to get me in front of you today, to ask for your support to help me continue to serve my purpose, which is to serve the community. My name is Desmond Cooks, and I'm asking for your support for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 5, Place 2.
Very good. Thank you. Ms. Dotson, 2-minute closing statement.
As Mr. Cook said, yes, we're here to serve the community. We're here to work for the community. We're here to work hard for the community. We're not taking ownerships of seats because we do not own the seats. You vote us in. And not only do you vote us in, you want us to be held accountable, and we should be held accountable. It is true. The People's Court, the JP courts are the People's Court, and I want to be the people's judge. I want to be there. I do want to make sure that these programs are in place. We want to make sure that you know when you come in what the dockets mean and what the wording is and what the legal jargon means and what the certain documents are. We want to make sure that so no man will feel he's left out or left behind. We want to make sure that we have extended hours because you cannot come. Some people can't come Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Sometimes you do have to have those extended hours in order to meet your public. You must meet the need of your public. And if you're not meeting the need of your public, then who are you meeting the need for? We want to make sure that if you can't come during the week, have a Saturday court so you can come to Saturday court. Have online court. Also have online classes. We can make this work. We can make this happen. We all just need a helping hand. I'm here to lend a hand and not point a finger. If I'm giving you my hand to help raise you up, let's get up there. Let's get this knowledge, and knowledge is power. Let's have more understanding. Let's give the understanding. Let's let them know it is here. Let's have this courtroom open in the open house so you may come here and get whatever you're needing. Now I'm asking you to let me be that judge for you, to give me that opportunity, to let me show you what we can do together. I want to be able to say, this is your courtroom, you have appointed me, and I'm most humbled to be here for you. And I will work for you and work as hard as I can for you. And I will continue to work for you because it does not start while I'm campaigning. My hard work starts when I'm on that bench. And when I'm on that bench, I'm going to continue to do my job so that you will know that I am here for you and I'm a people person and you are the people. And we can do this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Judge Hassel.
Thank you. The people, the voters of Precinct 5 have elected me several times, and I think they've looked at my track record, and they're satisfied with the track record, the work I have done, along with the staff, because really it's not the judge that does it by himself or herself. It's the staff that keeps the office running. All these cases, because we're not talking about hundreds of cases. We're talking about thousands of cases. And the frontline workers, the clerks, really, they're the ones that keep the office running. So I try and impart to my staff that treat everybody with the respect that you would like to be treated. And I believe that our track record shows that we've been successful. Now, can we do better? Of course we can do better. Everybody can do better. And I would ask, as an example of some of the case, a most particular case that really has stuck to me over the years, this happened right after the pandemic. An 88-year-old woman from West Dallas was about to lose her house because a so-called nonprofit had gone and bought all these houses in a certain area for profit. And they were trying to evict her because she had not paid. She showed me a deed of sale from the 1970s. She had been paying over $200 a month. She should have had it all paid by then. Somewhere in between, they switched the paperwork and had her sign a lease. That was not right. And I saw that was not right. And yes, the landlord should have won. And I saw that's not right. That's not justice. I ruled in her favor. And she kept her house. And to this day, as far as I know, she's still in that house. And that's the kind of work that I do for our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have candidates for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 5, Place 2. The incumbent, Judge Juan Hasso. Challenger, Ms. Kalitha Dotson. Challenger, Mr. Desmond Cooks. Thank you so much for you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Next up is Dallas County Constable, Precinct 1.
Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates, presented by the Dallas Examiner. I'm Molly Finch Belt, publisher of the Dallas Examiner. The Dallas Examiner has presented Monday Night Politics for over 12 consecutive years prior to elections. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We seek to inform the community so that when they go to the polls, they are informed voters. All candidates who provide their email addresses on their applications when they file for office are invited to participate in Monday Night Politics. Monday Night Politics is not a debate, it's a forum designed to inform the community about the candidates' qualifications, their platform, etc. We could not present Monday Night Politics without our sponsors, who are nonprofit organizations, and they do not endorse either. In addition to Monday Night Politics, our website, www.dallasexaminer.com, has a section for voter education. Here you'll find current information about voting. Visit www.dallasexaminer.com. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people who have worked with Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates behind the scenes for over 12 years. The first person is Robin Jimenez, Vice President of Production and Editorial at the Dallas Examiner. The other person is Christy Thomas, Monday Night Politics Advisory Committee. We are happy tonight to have as our moderator Charles O'Neill. Charles is president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, and he was the first editor for the Dallas Examiner when the newspaper was founded by my father in 1986. Thank you for attending the forum tonight.
And welcome back to Monday Night Politics. Tonight we have with us candidates for Dallas County Constable races, in this case, Precinct 1. This might fall under the heading of too much information, but I have some familiarity with the work of constables. In my irresponsible youth, I used to get worried about having that little sticker on my door at rent time. And so I know something about what y'all do for a living, but I do want to welcome to the stage Yolanda Freeman, who is the challenger for Precinct 1, and the incumbent Tracy Gully. So thank you we'll have 2 minutes for opening statements. Again, we'll do alphabetical order, EFG. Ms. Freeman, you go first, 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. I'm Yolanda Freeman, candidate for Dallas County Constables Precinct 1. Precinct 1 has changed. They added 3 new cities, Duncanville, the eastern section of DeSoto, and Glen Heights. It also has Wimmer, Lancaster, Oak Cliff, South Dallas, Pleasant Grove, Sigerville, Combine, and downtown Dallas. I am very big on mental health. This pandemic placed me there to be very big on mental health and conflict resolution, along with bullying. I believe that there should be and can be plenty of services, classes, training for the community with all 3 of those things. With this pandemic, things have changed. We're never going back to the way things were before. Never, that's gone, that's obsolete. So we have to just shift our mind to move to some new things to offer the community as well as ourselves, to move us to the next stage, of where we need to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Scully.
Good evening. I definitely wanted to thank you, Ms. Belts, for having us tonight at Dallas Examiner, and you too for moderating. And thank you all for sharing this time with us. My name is Tracy Gully. I am your constable for Dallas County Precinct 1. I have been with the constable's office for over 25 years. Experience, integrity, and loyalty is what I stand for. I'll give you a little bit of background about myself. I'm born and raised in Dallas, raised in Pleasant Grove, attended the University of North Texas. I have my master's peace officer's license, along with I am the firearm instructor for Precinct 1 as well, and I also have my license as an instructor TCO certification. So I not only do I preach this, but I teach this too. So I am this experienced person for this job. Now, I will tell you this. We offer so many things at Precinct 1. Since I've been there, not only as the constable, but I've been doing this, I've hit the ground running when I was a deputy. So this is nothing new since I became the constable in the last 7 years, and I thank God that I have served you as the last 7 years as the constable. I finished the unexpired term of the late Cleo Steele, and then I did my 4 years for myself, and now I am up for re-election. I am #1 on that ballot, so go to the end and be my friend and look for Tracy Gully. And I will tell you one thing about this. I do have the largest precinct in Dallas County, and I will tell you, later on down, I will tell you some of the counties and areas that I do cover. But I have to say this, if I have, and I heard Eddie Bernice Johnson say this, and I will say this for myself. If I have made this job look too easy, I'm sorry. Because it's not. It took a whole lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and it paid a lot to have a praying mom on your side, and I've done that. So I kept both heels to the ground, and I stayed prayed up, and I've worked myself, and I've done a pretty good job, if I say so myself.
For the first question,
Yes, sir.
everybody's experience is not like mine, and everybody's not in the threat of being evicted. So tell us about what the constable does.
Well, actually, and I will tell you this because a lot of people still don't know what a constable does. A constable is a licensed peace officer, and a lot of times people will say, oh, it's just a constable, we can fly by them. They're nothing. Oh, you best believe, we are licensed peace officers as well. We take the same peace officer, same examination as the regular police officer or the sheriff department does. We serve court order papers from the Justice of the Peace in the district court. We do a lot of the civil side of the law, so that's where experience comes in mind. You have to have experience in order to do this job. I didn't wake up one day and just say, hey, give me those 4 stars and let me serve as the constable. It comes with experience. Now, constables, we serve citations, we serve court orders, we serve small claims, whether we're working with CPS, rid of attachments, evictions as well, unfortunately, we do that as well. We even have property sales with the constable's office. So those are some of the things that we do with the constable's office.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Freeman, you heard a description about that, the duties that we've come to be familiar with the constable's office, but you named some other things that were important to you, mental health and other things. So how would your being elected to Precinct 2 change the way that office functions or improve it?
First, with extending out the training. Yes, there has been training before, but to extend it, we're not where we used to be. People are not where they used to be. So we have to be able to move forward and extend out and meet people where they are. Because with mental health, the constable office does mental health warrants. And I know for a fact that since the pandemic has been here, I'm quite sure all 5 of them have had a lot of mental health warrants. And with the mental health warrants, you have to come up with different type of ideas so you can bring those mental health warrants down, but build the people up. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is you got to come up with creative ideas for the people. Also, when mental health has a dip, it's almost impossible for anybody to use any type of conflict resolution because they work hand in hand. It's just no way you're going to be able to do that.
So how can someone who is in the constable's office, how can they use that role to inform the public about programs that are necessary, programs that are available? How would you do community outreach?
Community outreach, I would create. I've already started creating some things that has helped myself. I know if it has helped me, it'll definitely help anybody else. I mean, because it's just simple processes to use for us with character, honor, accountability, intention, and respect. I had to learn how to redevelop my character since this pandemic because of different situations that I had encountered. I had to learn to honor God first and also honor myself. A lot of times we don't honor ourselves. We're so busy doing so much for other people, but we have to do things for ourselves as well. But we also have to honor other people. I had to accept accountability to where I was in my life. What are you gonna do? You gonna stay there? I know my mother wouldn't want me to stay there because that's just not what she was all about. Intention, just have good intentions. Do what you say you're gonna do. Whatever it is that you say you're gonna do it, follow through with it. And with the respect, respect yourself and as well as respecting others.
Thank you so much. Constable Gully, talk to us about how, again, using the role to better acquaint the community with just that function.
Okay, well, I will tell you, I only have 2 minutes, but I'll tell you some of the things that we have implemented with the constable's office. We have what we call one-on-one with Precinct 1, and this is where we've had Monday night court, where we have left the courthouse open until 8 p.m. And this was solely because of some of the people that couldn't have their night when they have their 8 to 5 jobs, that they couldn't come in to attend court. So we implemented this program with Judge Jones, Judge Nash, and myself, where the court would stay open. And it's pretty much like a Q&A. They would be able to come in and answer questions or ask questions. What does a constable do? Or what do I do if I'm evicted? Or where do I go if I have divorce papers that need to be served? Or just simple questions that you can't actually ask while you're in the courtroom. So that's one program that we've implemented, or that I have implemented since I've become the constable. We have another one where we also go on Heaven 90, well, actually it was Heaven 97, and now we go on to the radio stations, where we actually communicate with the community, where you ask questions once again. What does a constable do? So we reach out through the public. Also, we have IMA, where we go out to the ministers, because a lot of you, we pray, and our ministers are the ones that we reach out to. So we've teamed up with all of the ministers in pretty much Precinct 1 area, and we speak to them and we inform them of what's going on, what the constables do, and we educate our pastors so that they can educate their congregation. So that's what we do also at Precinct 1. We also have a program where we reach out to our senior citizens. Each month we pick and choose each senior citizen that we go out to, and we talk to them about wills. There's a lot of times that we get to the point to where you need a will, and a lot of people don't think about that that's needed. So we reach out to our senior citizens. We also go out to the schools. Before the pandemic, we're going, and I believe educating our younger generation is the most important thing. So we're reaching out to the schools. So we go out and we educate them all as well.
Very good. Now, this is the easy part.
Okay.
2 minutes for our closing statement.
Okay. Well, I will tell you this. I've heard other candidates say that they are endorsed by so many. My list goes on, and I thank God for that. Evidently, I'm doing something good in Dallas County. Not only am I out in the community, but I've been endorsed by Commissioner John Wiley Price. I've been endorsed by John Crusoe, the district attorney's office. I've been endorsed by Stonewall Democrats. I've been endorsed by Tejano Democrats. All of this to say, and there are so many, the list goes on, and I hope I don't offend anyone that I didn't go down my list and name everyone. But those endorsements, and I'm proud to say that I have them, and I stand tall on them, but they're not going to get me in this office. They're not going to keep me in this office. My work that I have done in this community speaks for itself. When you say be out in the community, and a lot of people don't know, just because I have 25 years or you have 25 years or 20 years plus in law enforcement, that doesn't mean that you can be the constable. You have to have experience to be that constable. I am your most qualified person for this position, your most experienced person for this position. And I will tell you this. Integrity, it means a lot. Accountability, it means a lot. It goes a long way. But you definitely, and I preach on this and I preach on this, you have to have experience for this job. Like I said again, I didn't get these 4 stars on my collar just for being there or being out in the community. I speak and I teach and I work hard and I stand tall for what I believe in. I am your constable for Dallas County Precinct 1, and I would appreciate your support, your continuous support to keep me in that office, and I thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Freeman, 2-minute closing statement.
Experience. I have experience too. I worked as a deputy for Dallas County Constable's Precinct 1 under Constable Gully for 13 years. Do I have all the experience for as like on the running a budget? And no, I don't have that, but I can learn, and I'm willing to learn. But I do have a lot of experience. I've taken the time over these last 2 years since this pandemic to educate myself when it comes down to mental health, anxiety, when it comes down to leadership. I have taken the time to actually do that and learn that. Accountability. Anytime something comes my way, whether right or wrong, I accept it and I deal with it and just so I can move on. Commitment. I'm always committed to anything that it is that I do, both professionally and personally. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do exactly what it is I say I'm going to do. Whether I want to or not, I'm going to do what it is that I say I'm going to do. So, early voting ends on Friday. It starts back up tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Primary day is March the 1st. Come meet me there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have our candidates for Constable Precinct 1, M. Yolanda Freeman, the challenger, and incumbent, Ms. Tracy Gully. Thank you so much. I appreciate your being here tonight. Next up, Dallas County Constable Precinct 2.
Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates, presented by the Dallas Examiner. I'm Molly Finch Belt, publisher of the Dallas Examiner. The Dallas Examiner has presented Monday Night Politics for over 12 consecutive years prior to elections. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We seek to inform the community so that when they go to the polls, they are informed voters. All candidates who provide their email addresses on their applications when they file for office are invited to participate in Monday Night Politics. Monday Night Politics is not a debate, it's a forum designed to inform the community about the candidates' qualifications, their platform, etc. We could not present Monday Night Politics without our sponsors, who are nonprofit organizations, and they do not endorse either. In addition to Monday Night Politics, our website, www.dallasexaminer.com, has a section for voter education. Here you'll find current information about voting. Visit www.dallasexaminer.com. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people who have worked with Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates behind the scenes for over 12 years. The first person is Robin Jimenez, Vice President of Production and Editorial at the Dallas Examiner. The other person is Christy Thomas, Monday Night Politics Advisory Committee. We are happy tonight to have as our moderator Charles O'Neill. Charles is president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, and he was the first editor for the Dallas Examiner when the newspaper was founded by my father in 1986. Thank you for attending the forum tonight.
And welcome back to Monday Night Politics, brought to you by the Dallas Examiner. Tonight we have the Dallas County Constable Precinct 2 race. We have with us the incumbent, Constable Bill Gibson, and his challenger, Deanna Hammond. I just, in an aside, this is the constable's race that part of the qualification is the best hat. So thank y'all so much for coming up. We have an opportunity here for you both to introduce yourselves to our viewing audience, our listening audience. 2 minutes for an opening statement. Again, as in past, we've been doing it in alphabetical order, so Constable Gibson, you go first.
Good evening. To thank the Dallas Examiner and Ms. Belt for this opportunity to come and speak before you all. I'm Constable Bill Gibson, your community constable. I grew up in East Texas on a farm where I learned hard work and dedication. My father was a pastor, still preaching, and my mother was a nurse. Got sisters who were educators, one right here in the Dallas area for Duncanville ISD. I've served this country for 21 years, just recently promoted and selected to the Sergeant Major Academy. I've served this county, Dallas County, from the Sheriff's Department, Traffic and Patrol, Court Services to the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. And I'm asking for your support at the polls to continue serving you. In my short time in this first term being elected, I brought in a subject matter expert team that have over 60 years of Dallas County experience in law enforcement. We bridge the gap from law enforcement to the community by creating partnerships with Dallas North Texas Auto Theft Task Force, the Garland ISD Intrusion Program, with their security and safety team. We established an annual turkey drive, handing out turkeys through the pandemic. I also serve on committees like the Mesquite ISD Leadership Empowerment Team, ensuring that there's no gaps with cultural or racial separation with our kids. We also establish things in our community with just schools going to do career days and things. Just continue to bridge that gap where the community know that they have a law enforcement entity in their community that they can trust and believe in. And I look forward to speaking to you throughout this segment. Thank you all. Your community constable, Bill Gibson.
Thank you so much. Ms. Hammond.
Good evening. Again, thank you, Ms. Bell. Thank you, Dallas Examiner. Thank you guys for having me. My name is Deanna Hammond, and I am running for Constable Precinct 2. A little bit about my background. I am a native Arkansan. I, too, raised on a farm. I, too, am a PK kid. So I, too, am a preacher's kid. So I know all too well how that works, and we're held to such high standards being in those dynamics. My educational background, bachelor's degree starting at University of Houston, finished that degree at DeVry University, did my master's at Dallas Baptist University, and now I am currently pursuing my doctorate at Grand Canyon University in psychology. My law enforcement background is very diverse. It started in 2003, so I have over 18 years of experience on the city, county, and federal levels. Along with that experience, I'd like to highlight my experience with Texans Can Academies. It's a school for at-risk youth. I held the position of counselor at that school. So I'm able to relate to the youth in our community as well, and to try to connect with bridging the gap with the community and law enforcement by first reaching our youth. So bias is there is where my experience goes. The trajectory of those experiences is what has groomed and prepared me for the leadership role of constable. And with that being entailed, what I want to do is just bring back community policing. Putting community back in policing is a priority. We're losing our youth, and we need to be more visible. And when I say visible, we might not be able to deter all crime, but we can at least deter crime. So that is me, Deanna Hammond, constable candidate for Precinct 2.
Ms. Hammond, stay there and kind of expand on that, if you will. That was part of the question I was going to raise, is you are a law enforcement agency, and you talked about the preventive steps that can be put into effect.
Yes.
Kind of expand on that.
So, being a law enforcement agency, we are, like Constable Tracy Gully said a little bit earlier, we do hold a license, we do hold our peace officer license like all other departments. So the local municipalities, pretty much, they do calls of service. For us, we're countywide jurisdiction, so yes, we do everything that they can do, but also in addition to that, we do civil processes. While we're serving and doing civil processes, I feel like we can be a resource to our local police department. Again, crime is increasing and our police officers is decreasing. We don't have the amount of police officers we used to have. They used to want to be police, and right now we don't have that. Our youth are scared of us, we are scared of them, and that is where we have to bridge that gap. I feel like I am definitely experienced for that because I too am a product of that. I experienced a lot of things as well in the community. Moving to Houston, when I first moved 36 years ago, or 35 years ago, moving to the Texas area, I was homeless. I had to leave home for personal reasons. I was homeless. I took shelter in a condemned school. And instead of the police taking me to get help, they arrested me for criminal trespassing. We still have that same thing going, and we need to break that cycle. And as constables, we have the authority to be out in the community and be visible and to gain our youth back again.
Thank you so much. Constable Gibson, kind of talk about that expanded presence and how we can use the constable's office to stamp down on the rising crime.
That's a great question, and even though I have children, I'm a father. I have a young son who's 13 years old, and I have a 20-year-old and a 10-year-old. But that's where the experience comes in play, and that's where the understanding of Dallas County government comes in play, because it's defined the constable duties in the Texas Constitution, Article 5, and also Government Code, Chapter 86. We are the civil process side to law enforcement. And in Dallas County, now we see throughout our state, in Harris County, we see in Kaufman County, Jefferson County, Montgomery County. Constable's office may have or might be doing more, I guess you could say, the police side of law enforcement. But we're the constables, and we are the civil process side to law enforcement. And so being police is your municipality, and I think that's where we have to educate the public as far as the different duties of our law enforcement. We have the sheriff's department, the police departments who answer calls for service, as well as our DPS, Department of Public Safety. But at the constable's office, especially in Dallas County, we serve the civil process side of the law enforcement. And so we have to understand the different jurisdictions. So expanding the way we expand into the community is through community outreach. And that's what we've done in our office since I've been the constable. We donated office space to the Legal Aids of North Texas, where people that's facing evictions is able to come into the courtroom, and after seeing the JPs, especially in our Mesquite office and court, they're able to go into our office space that was donated to Legal Aids of North Texas and Sharing Life to get those resources to prevent them from being evicted. And we was able to do that during the pandemic. So that's just some ways through our community outreach.
Very good. So, stay there and tell us how being returned, this is your closing statement, how being returned to the constable's role will benefit the citizens of Precinct 2.
Returning, electing me once again to return as your constable in Precinct 2, we will continue to reach out to our community and our partners in the community through our school systems, strengthening that relationship with the Sheriff's Department, strengthening the relationship with our DA's office. And we will continue to reform and reshape the constable's office. We are starting that where Precinct 2, your constable, Bill Gibson, is the pilot office for a new system coming to Dallas County called Soft Code. Soft Code is going to allow all the constable's office in Dallas County to be more effective and efficient when serving their papers. This will be done through a real-time system where they will be able to be tracked through real time. That's not just for Precinct 2. That's for all 5 of our constables that most of them you will hear from tonight. And so that system is getting ready to roll out. It was briefed in the Commissioner's Court February the 4th of 2020. So it's already there. It's going through our IT system right now. And that's what we're going to do in Precinct 2. We're going to continue to reshape and reform it to where we are more visible. We're going to have dialogues going forward to where we will be able to bring an educational forum to the constable's office. I want the citizens to understand fully of the duties of the constable's office. Yes, we can be doing traffic and other things, but we are the civil process, and we have enough with that to where we have to, yes, work with our cities if they call upon us, our sheriff's department, but everybody has a responsibility to the community, and our responsibility is the civil process side. And so I thank you all. I look forward to continue serving you. Hope to get your support at the polls. Early voting ends February 25th. Election day is March the 1st. So please come out. Let's turn out to vote. Let's support the candidates on the ballot as well as your community constable, Bill Gibson. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Ms. Hammond, how will electing you to Precinct 2 Constable improve that office? Your 2-minute closing statement.
My platform is one that I have not seen under the current leadership. My platform, it entails numerous town hall meetings, community collaboration, community engagement. And when I say that, I'll speak on someone said a little bit earlier, talking about the CDC and the declaration that was passed down. A lot of citizens did not know that information that was afforded to them, and they were evicted from their homes. So with that, you have to get on radio, local radio stations, social media, podcasts, same things we're doing now to campaign. You should continue to do those things when you're in office. Your campaigning doesn't stop. You continue to campaign to reach the people that you did not reach. If I have to evict that mother of 4, that single mother of 4 that truly has nowhere to go, truly has no income, and the information was not passed down to her or afforded to her, then I need to have empathy in doing that. If I have to evict that mother, yes, that is my duty to do, then I need to have a resource for her. Maybe I can hand her something that says, hey, Mother Francis is waiting on you. You can stay a week, 2 weeks, maybe 30 days. In the interim, if I have to put all her stuff on the curve, let's partner with Salvation Army, somebody that can come get those things and hold them maybe for 30 days. If they don't come pick them up, then it's gone. So again, we take an oath to protect and serve, but it does not say that we can't have the empathy for the execution of our duties. I am a leader that should be placed in Precinct 2, a leader that can connect with the community. Again, early voting stops February 25th, regular voting March the 1st. Please consider placing me in office for Constable, Dallas County Precinct 2.
Thank you so much. We have our challenger, Ms. Deanna Hammond, and incumbent, Constable Bill Gibson, candidates for Constable Precinct 2, Dallas County. Thank you so much. Next up, Precinct 3. Thank you, sir.
evening and welcome to Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates, presented by the Dallas Examiner. I'm Molly Finch Belt, publisher of the Dallas Examiner. The Dallas Examiner has presented Monday Night Politics for over 12 consecutive years prior to elections. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We seek to inform the community so that when they go to the polls, they are informed voters. All candidates who provide their email addresses on their applications when they file for office are invited to participate in Monday Night Politics. Monday Night Politics is not a debate, it's a forum designed to inform the community about the candidates' qualifications, their platform, etc. We could not present Monday Night Politics without our sponsors, who are nonprofit organizations, and they do not endorse either. In addition to Monday Night Politics, our website, www.dallasexaminer.com, has a section for voter education. Here you'll find current information about voting. Visit www.dallasexaminer.com. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people who have worked with Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates behind the scenes for over 12 years. The first person is Robin Jimenez, Vice President of Production and Editorial at the Dallas Examiner. The other person is Christy Thomas, Monday Night Politics Advisory Committee. We are happy tonight to have as our moderator Charles O'Neill. Charles is president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, and he was the first editor for the Dallas Examiner when the newspaper was founded by my father in 1986. Thank you for attending the forum tonight.
And welcome back to Monday Night Politics, brought to you by the Dallas Examiner. We have had an extended program for tonight, but we want to make sure that you know all the candidates who are running for these races that are typically at the bottom of your ballot. So we have tonight with us candidates for Dallas County Constable, Precinct 3. We have Mr. Henry Curry and Mr. DeMondre Montgomery. So thank you both so much for being here. We have 2 minutes for opening statements. And we're going to go in alphabetical order. Mr. Curry, you're up next.
Good evening. I am Henry Curry, your candidate for Dallas County Constable Precinct 3. I have served the citizens of Dallas County for a little bit over 25 years, most recently in the capacity of Assistant Chief. As Assistant Chief, I oversaw daily operations, training, and staff management. I also assisted in budget preparation, policy procedures, standards and guidelines, and audit compliance. I am the only candidate that has experience in every facet of the constable's office. I've worked in civil, I've worked warrants, I've done traffic, I've done writ enforcement, where we seize the sold property to satisfy judgments. I've been a deputy, I've worked in supervision as a sergeant, and I most recently worked in administration as assistant chief. So I have the experience that's needed. This position does require experience. Okay, I have Master Peace Officer certification. I have mental illness certification through T-Code. I'm a certified mental illness specialist, and that is one area within the constable's office, okay, that a lot of people don't talk about. But as the sergeant at Precinct 2, one of the things I did there was I mandated that all the deputies at that time receive the required mental illness training so that they can go out and have the proper training that's needed to handle those mental illness situations. So that's one thing I do believe in. So I feel like experience is definitely needed in this position, and I have that experience. And I would appreciate your support and your vote, so I would just like to ask you to hurry, to go all the way down the ballot and vote for Henry Curry. And I challenge you to please read my website, review my website, www.curryforconstable.com, review my experience, look at my platform, my credentials, see my experience and my background, and see what I have to offer to the citizens of Precinct 3. I would appreciate your support and your vote. I'm number 1 on the ballot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Montgomery.
Hello. First, I'd like to start off and thank you guys for allowing me to come and speak to you this afternoon. My name is DeMondre Montgomery. I'm candidate for Dallas County Constable Precinct 3. Once elected, I'll be the youngest law enforcement official in the state of Texas history. At 23 years of age, I have gotten a plethora of awards, all the way from state senators to congresswomen, etc. The list goes on. I graduated from Cedar Hill Collegiate High School, a prestigious high school in Cedar Hill. A graduate from that high school, I also obtained my associate's degree upon graduation. But it didn't stop there. From there, I started a security company in the city of Dallas. I operate out of Precinct 3. My security company, under my leadership, we have successfully taken several apartment complexes in high crime areas, in the 5 Point area, and a plethora of other areas off of the City of Dallas known program as SAFE. SAFE is a program within the City of Dallas where they're basically, if crime continues in that city or crime continues in that area, they will be sued by the city, and the city will take possession of that property. I'm asking for you guys' support. I'm asking for you guys' vote. I'm number 2 on the ballot. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
Stay there for the first question, Mr. Montgomery. You heard in Mr. Curry's opening statement about experience in that role. You've talked about your experience in alleviating crime in the area. Talk about how you'll apply that to the constable's role.
Basically, as a security company, we deal not only with criminal, but we deal with the civil aspect of law enforcement as well. A security company, we are the first set of people that deal primarily in apartment complexes mainly. When we do deal with these, we're the people that's giving out these notice to vacates that come from the apartment complex prior to them even going up and filing for evictions inside the apartment complex. With the knowledge that I have and the experience that I've seen inside of these apartment complexes, I built my campaign on character, commitment, and compassion. I'm committed to the citizens of Dallas County, not only in my area, but also the other areas. I have the compassion that is needed for this position due to the fact that I do see a lot of times once these people are evicted, they have no place to go. The constable's office is the last set of people, last law enforcement that the people see prior to being kicked out of their homes. And with that experience that I have, and with the knowledge and the expertise that I have and the people that I've met and gained a friendship with, I'm able to partner with and provide resources to citizens once they do get their final notice, basically.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you so much. Mr. Kerr, kind of talk about how you'll apply the experience. I even heard you say you worked in another precinct. How you'll apply that experience if elected to the role.
If elected, I'm what you will call one of the few subject matter experts within Dallas County in the constable's office. When I say subject matter expert, I mean I'm an instructor. I teach basic civil process, which is the core duty of the constable's office. And it's very important that you have knowledge in that aspect, because there's certain statutes and guidelines that as constables we have to go by. So what we do is we go out and we serve civil process. Now we are peace officers, we can make arrests and do all that, but our main goal is to serve a civil process. And that's not something that you just learn overnight. It's an extensive training program we have to go through. It's a lot of statutes and mandates that we have to be made aware of. And in my capacity as assistant chief during the pandemic, I stayed in close contact with the Dallas County Civil DA's office, where all the federal guidelines were handed down, and the Texas Supreme Court was coming down, and we would pass those, and I was able to pass those instructions on down to the deputies. So it is important to have experience. Security experience is not the same as law enforcement experience. You're two different areas. Now I have security experience as well. I did that before I got in law enforcement, but I have completed the academy. I am a certified peace officer now, working in this capacity, and I know my job, and I'm here to serve the citizens of Dallas County.
Very good. 2 minutes for a closing statement.
Okay. Once again, I just want to reiterate, I have the experience to do this job. I've served the citizens for 25 years. I've worked in every capacity, every facet within the constable's office. This is not something you can just come in and learn as you go. This is not one of those kind of deals you want to put someone in office who's got to kind of do on-the-job training. You want to put someone in office who on day one can start working for the citizens of Dallas County and hit the ground running, implementing things and practices and procedures that's going to make the county work more efficiently and effective. The program that Constable Gibson spoke about, I was one of the instrumental spearheads in that soft code program, so I'm very familiar with that. I'm familiar with everything going on within the constable's office. Experience is very important, it is required, it is needed, and we need to make sure that we get people in positions who are qualified. And I think that's one of the things where you have issues with constables right now. We need qualified people in office to hold these positions. I am qualified. I would appreciate your support and your vote. And again, I'm Henry Curry. Please view my website and review my credentials and what I have to offer and bring to this community. And I'd appreciate your support and your vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Montgomery, 2 minutes for a closing statement.
Once again, my name is DeMondre Montgomery, candidate for Dallas County Constable, Precinct 3. Basically, I did want to touch on one last thing, experience. Experience does matter. That is the truth. Experience does matter. But also solution matters. Caring matters. And those are two things that I have. I come in with solutions. If I see a problem, I have a solution for that problem. It doesn't take me time. It doesn't take me 20, 30, or 40 years to come up with a solution for problems that I see in my community. As a product of this community, there are solutions that I would like to put into place. I'm DeMondre Montgomery, second on the ballot. Please consider me for your vote as Dallas County Constable, Precinct 3.
Thank you so much. We have our candidates, both challenging an incumbent that's on the Republican side of Dallas, Mr. Henry Curry and Mr. DeMondre Montgomery. Thank you so much for being here. Next up is Precinct 4. Hey.
Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates, presented by the Dallas Examiner. I'm Molly Finch Belt, publisher of the Dallas Examiner. The Dallas Examiner has presented Monday Night Politics for over 12 consecutive years prior to elections. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We seek to inform the community so that when they go to the polls, they are informed voters. All candidates who provide their email addresses on their applications when they file for office are invited to participate in Monday Night Politics. Monday Night Politics is not a debate, it's a forum designed to inform the community about the candidates' qualifications, their platform, etc. We could not present Monday Night Politics without our sponsors, who are nonprofit organizations, and they do not endorse either. In addition to Monday Night Politics, our website, www.dallasexaminer.com, has a section for voter education. Here you'll find current information about voting. Visit www.dallasexaminer.com. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people who have worked with Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates behind the scenes for over 12 years. The first person is Robin Jimenez, Vice President of Production and Editorial at the Dallas Examiner. The other person is Christy Thomas, Monday Night Politics Advisory Committee. We are happy tonight to have as our moderator Charles O'Neill. Charles is president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, and he was the first editor for the Dallas Examiner when the newspaper was founded by my father in 1986. Thank you for attending the forum tonight.
And welcome back to Monday Night Politics tonight, brought to you by the Dallas Examiner newspaper. And we have for us tonight a solo candidate for Dallas County Constable Precinct 4, the incumbent, Ed Wright. Constable Wright, you got as much time as anybody's ever had tonight to go.
It's going to be a while on top of a while, so you guys get ready. Appreciate you guys having me here, man. I am the Constable Precinct 4, Constable Ed Wright. I'm so happy to be here to talk to you guys about me and all the things I've done over the years with the Constable's office. I'm born and raised here in Dallas. Come from a family of 8. Mom and dad had 8 boys. I'm the last one, the youngest, the shortest in my family. Worked for the sheriff department for 30 years before I retired in 2018. Took office in 2019 along with some of my other constables here, and worked all over the sheriff department. I was there. I worked as an investigator for 20 years. I was on our SWAT/TAC team for about 7 years. So I have a lot of experience coming into the constable's office. After getting at the constable's office, I realized there were some things that needed to be changed. So when I got there, I understood that I wanted to make some changes. And the first thing I did was look at how our office was being run. And I said, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to change. I want to change the amount of officers that we have on the street. So what I decided to do was make our officers start working 10 hours. So I changed us from working from 8 hours to 10 hours. Now that put more officers out on the street to serve more paperwork. So what I did, I hired reserve officers, reserves/volunteer officers. Those officers would work the court. So I put those officers in the courts, took our officers in the court, put them out on the street. So now we have more officers working the streets. We have officers who are working 10 hours instead of 4 hours. Now those officers have 4 days, they're working 4 days, so they have 3 days off. So now those officers with 3 days off, they don't have to take a day off. They have a Monday or Friday off. What that does, what I'm explaining, what that does, is that stops officers from calling in sick, that stops officers from taking off. That helps us to have more officers at work, and we get to do more work. But what we calculated, that going from 8 hours to 10 hours, that saved, and having the reserve officers work in the courts and put our officers out on the street, we calculated that saved our taxpayers over $50,000 since we did it because it saves on gas and it saves on us paying overtime. So I looked at it and said, these are things that you have to do. Constable Gully said this earlier. Experience, experience, experience. Experience matters. You can't be in this position without having experience. You got to know how to make those kind of decisions. You got to know how to make decisions about balancing a budget, about writing policies, doing things like that. You have to understand what it. I'm not sure who said it. One of them said it. You can't just be put in this position without the experience. You have to know the civil side of the law. It's easy to sit back. Constable Gully said it again. She makes it look easy. Sometimes we make this job look easy. Because we're not on the news, we're not being talked about, we're not getting in trouble. Because we know what we're doing our job.
Let me give you one question before you do your closing statement. You talked about savings on budget. How much of a battle is it to have an adequate budget allocated to the constable's office?
Maybe I should call everybody up so we talk about this together. Maybe I should call all of them up here and we talk about this together because it's a monster. It is one of the toughest things we go through each and every day because there's so many things that we want to do. There's so many different equipment that we want to have, that we want to give our officers, different things we want to be able to do to help out our community. So it's the hardest thing in the world having that money because you got to be able to balance your budget. Officers got to have the right equipment. They got to have the right uniforms. You got to have the right cars. And speaking of cars, one thing that I'm in discussion with our county administrator, Darryl Martin, is when our cars get to a certain point, this is another, talking about saving money, when our cars get to a certain amount of miles, we have to change our cars out. What I'm in discussion with him about is going from our cars being gas fuel to alternative fuel. Again, that's going to save our taxpayers money. But you can't come in this position not knowing anything about the constable's office and say, okay, yeah, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to be out in the community. I'm going to make sure we throw some programs out there. You have to know what you're doing when you come in the office. You got to be able to get in there. You got to balance the budget. You got to know how to be out in the community. I have a ton of organizations, a ton of different things that I've started, programs that I've started, I should say, programs that I've started. If you give me a couple of seconds, I'll go over them real quickly before I leave. I started a program called Let's Get Fit with Constable Wright. Found out I was a diabetic about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I lost about maybe 20, 30 pounds. So what I did, I started a program. What I do, we go to our junior high school and our elementary schools, and we work out with kids. And we talk to kids about eating right and getting enough sleep, about drinking enough water. My wife and I started a scholarship program in 2021 where we give scholarships to kids that are graduating school, a TV, a VCR, microwave, all their bedding, and a Foot Locker. To kids going to school. I didn't have that. I didn't have the opportunity to get that. So my wife and I started those programs for kids that are, that scholarship program for kids that are going off to school. So I know my time is about up. So I will say that early voting ends this Friday. It ends this Friday. The election day is March the 1st, next Tuesday. Please go out there and vote for Constable Wright. Look me up on my website, and you can see a ton of things I do. I couldn't go through all of them. You'll see a ton of things I do. ConstableEdWright.com. Look me up, see all the things that I do in our community. I'm number 2 on the ballot, Constable Ed Wright. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Constable Ed Wright, looking for a re-election to Constable Precinct 4.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, appreciate
You know Charlie Neal?
Yes,
Neal?
yes.
We used to move, man.
Welcome to Monday Night Politics, Meet the Candidates, presented by the Dallas Examiner. I'm Molly Finch Belt, publisher of the Dallas Examiner. The Dallas Examiner has presented Monday Night Politics for over 12 consecutive years prior to elections. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We seek to inform the community so that when they go to the polls, they are informed voters. All candidates who provide their email addresses on their applications when they file for office are invited to participate in Monday Night Politics. Monday Night Politics is not a debate, it's a forum designed to inform the community about the candidates' qualifications, their platform, etc. We could not present Monday Night Politics without our sponsors, who are nonprofit organizations, and they do not endorse either. In addition to Monday Night Politics, our website, www.dallasexaminer.com, has a section for voter education. Here you'll find current information about voting. Visit www.dallasexaminer.com. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people who have worked with Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates behind the scenes for over 12 years. The first person is Robin Jimenez, Vice President of Production and Editorial at the Dallas Examiner. The other person is Christy Thomas, Monday Night Politics Advisory Committee. We are happy tonight to have as our moderator Charles O'Neill. Charles is president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, and he was the first editor for the Dallas Examiner when the newspaper was founded by my father in 1986. Thank you for attending the forum tonight.
And welcome back to Monday Night Politics, brought to you by the Dallas Examiner. We've had an action-packed, really packed program tonight. We're at our final race for the night. We have our candidates for Dallas County Constable Precinct 5. Our candidates are the incumbent, Mr. Michael Orozco, and this challenger, Ms. Sophia Graham, right? Again, we have 2 minutes for opening statements. Ms. Graham, alphabetical order, you're up next.
Good evening. I would like to say thank you to the Dallas Examiner for inviting me. Taxpayers, my name is Sophia Graham, and a lot of the information that you're going to hear is going to be repetitive. But I am the proud daughter of an Air Force veteran. I graduated from L.G. Pinkston High School. I have a BS degree from a HBCU right here in Dallas. I went to the University of North Texas, and I also have experience in working at Precinct 1 and Precinct 5 up under the direction of Jaime Cortez and Derek Evans. And as a constable, deputy constables, there's two sides of the constable's office. There's a civil side and there's a criminal side. So if something happens in a constable's presence or in your view as a peace officer certified by the state of Texas, then you can act upon that. So with that understanding, I just want you guys to know that I am the best candidate for it, or depends upon what you believe. Some people believe that leaders are made. If you believe that leaders are made, then you stick with the usual. But if you know that leaders are born, I was a born leader, whether I'm in a leadership position or not, but I am the best qualified person for this position. I was born and raised in West Dallas. There's no school like L.G. Pinkston High School. And I've noticed that people have used West Dallas as a platform. My understanding is, where were all these people when the lead smelter was going on? I mean, I know that there's a crisis going on with COVID-19, but there's been a crisis going on in West Dallas. So please, West Dallas and Precinct 5, don't be tricked by words, slogans, phrases. I only have one endorsement, and that came from, Mr. Casey Thomas, Dallas City Council. But I'm not going to be controlled by endorsements. I'm not going to be controlled by the University of North Texas. I'm not going to be controlled by Paul Quinn College. My grandmother prayed for me. So I'm going to live off my grandmother's prayers, and nobody's going to outwork me. So I will do the work that needs to be done for Precinct 5. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Orozco? Constable.
Good evening, elected official, candidates, constituents, and Dallas Examiner. Thank you for having us this evening. My name is Michael Orozco, and I'm proud to say that I'm your Dallas County Constable for Precinct 5. Back in 2018, I made a promise to all my constituents that if I was elected, that I would restore professionalism, integrity, and efficiency back to that office. And I'm proud to tell you that we did. We hit the ground running. We implemented policies and procedures that created increased productivity, created efficiency, and streamlined services. One of the tasks I tackled was my predecessor didn't put on close to 10,000 warrants. I went down to the JP courts, counted them out myself, put them on the system, and they're actively working right now. Also advocated for body cameras. That was one of the first things that I wanted to get. I went round and round with then Ryan Brown, the budget director. We got body cameras for my precinct and precincts all across Dallas County. And it is what it is. I stand for transparency and accountability, and it is what it is. Because of that body camera, it caught footage of a deputy that is no longer with this office. And let's talk about COVID. When I knew that COVID was coming down the pipe, I knew there was going to be a streamline of information to be disseminated. So I took to the airways. I went on K104 radio. I actually had an interview with the Mexican consulate that we were able to educate and put on social media information about how to know what your tenant rights are. We also have implemented, this is really neat, we implemented a door hanger that all of our deputies have. When they go out and serve an eviction citation, all the resources are on that door hanger. They can hand it to them in person, or if they're not at the house, when the eviction is securely attached, they can hang it to your door. Thank you.
I'll stay there for the first question. One of the biggest reactions we've had to a question posed to candidates for constable's office is about the budget and about how you have to fight for that. Kind of expand on that.
Absolutely. So, great question. And so I'll use the body cams as an example. When I went to Ryan Brown and met with him, boy, he did not want those body cams given. And so he had us reach out to all the constable's office in the higher municipal counties in the state of Texas. We had to call each and every one of them and ask to see if they had body cameras. Came back with the information that was requested, and now we have them.
Yeah, very good. Ms. Graham, the critical nature of adequate budget to perform the function.
I don't have any experience with the budget for Dallas County, but I've worked for the largest school district, the second largest school district in the state of Texas, which is DISD, and I was a supervisor there. There are different line codes that are allocated for different funding. Like there's a line code that's allocated for uniforms. There's a line code that's allocated for cars. So the constable themselves, I have no control over the budget. The budget is mandated by the Commissioner's Court. Now, I can make a request and say, I would like to have this, I would like to have that, my officers need this, but that is solely up to the Commissioner's Court. And there were programs that I would like to implement, being truancy, because there's a compulsory attendance law that's mandated by the state of Texas that says kids have to be in class at least 90% of the time in order for you to get credit for the class. Would I like to have some truancy officers? I would love to. Can I have some truancy officers? Not without the approval of the Commissioner's Court. So everything you do, it has to be approved by the Commissioner's Court.
Okay. Well, stay there for 2 minutes for a closed statement and talk to us in your closed statement about how you'll battle with those county commissioners for an expanded budget for Precinct 5.
I can make a request to those commissioners about what I would like to have for Precinct 5. And that's what I would do. I would make a request. Like another implement that I would like to have is a mental illness unit. Then, of course, like I said, this will be repetitive because some constables have said that they wanted that unit as well. But dealing with the budget, I don't have to have people to come in and for it to cost Dallas County money. The officers that are already there, the deputies that are there, the staff that's there, they can be trained. They can take 2 hours out of the 8 hours a day, or Ed Wright said his work 10. If mine work 10, then they can take 2 hours out of the 10 hours a day, and then that way the budget will stay intact and the community will still get what it needs. So it's always about serving the community. It's not up to me as constable for you to humble yourself before me as a leader. God put me in a leadership position, so it's up to me to humble myself before you. So come on out. If you believe in great leaders and leaders are born, then me. I'm your new constable, Sophia Graham. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Closed statement, Mr. Constable Orozco.
Hi, I'd like to talk about something personal to me. It means a lot to me. My father, Richard Orozco. I learned a lot from that man. He's a leader, and I'm a leader too. He spent over 25 years proud service in the constable's office. He served under the late, great Jesse R. Dawson as a sergeant and retired and finished his career as the late chief deputy under the late, great, honorable Joe Bagby. My dad taught me so much. When you think about my father, you think about the words honor, integrity, empathy come. That's what I am, and that's what I strive to be every day. We talk about transparency. I've had an open door policy since day one. On all my business cards, my cell phone number is on there. And I'll go ahead and give it to you right now. It's on my cell phone number, it's on my door hangers, it's on all my literature, and I'm going to share it with everyone in this audience right now. It's 214-236-0463. If I can ever be a resource to you, give me a call. I won't turn you down. Born and raised locally, grew up in East Dallas, graduated from the great Woodrow Wilson High School, recently inducted in the Hall of Fame there. My son recently graduated from Woodrow Wilson in 2017, and I'm proud to say he recently graduated from UT Austin. I have a daughter currently there as a junior. She's 17, and it's a great area. Born and raised in East Dallas, still love it, still live in Precinct 5. But more importantly, experience. Everyone talks about experience, but then there's good experience. I have good experience. I learned and took the initiative of learning each and every division of the constable's office. I have over 23 years in the Dallas County Constable's office. Once again, remember me and vote for me. Constable Michael Orozco. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have our candidates, including the incumbent, Mr. Michael Orozco, Constable for Precinct 5, and the challenger, Ms. Sophia Graham. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And thank all of you for your attendance and your attention to Monday Night Politics, our President's Edition. And join us next week. I think the last session before the primary election will feature Republican candidates for office. Thank you so much. Join us again.